Hey yo, what's up? You know what it is, your boy Triple the G.O.D, D-O-A-G-H, we back in the building. Now, it's been a while since I've done, an actual video review about something, but that doesn't mean I'm not reviewing anything. Down below you, right there, tripletheguy.blogspot.com, the link to it, every single video I upload to YouTube. You should read it sometimes. I write a whole bunch of educational and thought-provoking items about stuff and things, and you should read that. And on top of that, I need to whore myself out because, hey, what else do I have to do at the moment? But, enough about that. You've read the title of this video, and yes, we are taking a look at Kamen Climax for the Nintendo Wii. But this review is going to be a little bit different because, we don't really have a lot to talk about because, full disclosure, real talk, I have already reviewed this game in more or less terms when a couple of months ago I took a look at Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. Now, see, maybe, we're going to do that first. We are going to explain what you probably didn't notice in that review, what you might not notice by the end of this, just so that you know. Kamen Rider Climax Heroes Double is the basis that Dragon Knight was built on, with the stuff they have in this game. So it's like a really middle mishmash of different things we've done, and this game is a refinement of those two games combined. So math for you guys: Kamen Rider Climax Heroes Double plus Kamen Rider Dragon Knight characters equals Kamen Rider Dragon Knight the game. Bring over some of the stuff from O's, mainly the Mirror World stuff and the beat 'em up stuff that, we didn't take a look at because, Lord, I wasn't going to do that. But that's what it is. It's that a point to Dragon Knight, and I will put it up front, is that Dragon Knight has a lot less stingy combo engine because it's based off Climax Heroes Double, which was a lot loose. And this game is a lot tighter, as we'll take a look at our featured characters for this review. But, I think you've heard enough about that. So, let me review the game I've technically already reviewed once. Now it's Ragnarok mode, that's Philip just said, is that Ragnarok mode is the mirror world in this game. So, the difference being, you don't earn rider points because there's no shop or no things to buy in this game. But it's the same thing, is that the interface is just different. They introduced the beat 'em up battles that were in Dragon Knight, which was supposed to be in this game, I allege. And that's pretty much Ragnarok mode. But here's the problem. The same problem I had with Dragon Knight when you come to unlocking characters is the same problem I have with this game in unlocking characters. You unlock characters in one of two ways. You either bump into them, and you either bump into Ragnarok mode, or you beat arcade mode, and hopefully you'll meet that character before the final boss, and if you beat them and then beat the game, you unlock that character. Here's the problem. This game's been out for almost 2 years, and no one's still 101% sure what does what when where. So, here's my suggestion. Go to GameFAQs, download a save yourself the headache. See, helping me help you help yourself, because you do not want to sit through this tedious process. I did it for Dragon Knight for the sake of this review, and I actually did it for this game when it came out because I was just playing the game because I had nothing else to do. But at this point in time and juncture, if you're just taking a look at this game as just, to look at a curative odyssey, then yeah, just go download the save so you can experience the game. Simple. Yep, versus computer and versus two-player mode. Nothing really changed. It's just the game in the versus setting. We come through this through every game I review, pretty much. That is a fighting game, so you don't really need me to explain that to you. Training mode. You're having the option of either actual training, and something I don't think I've ever talked about in a Climax Heroes review that I can think of is that this is the tutorial mode. Now, when Super Climax Heroes comes out, the first video that we do will be me going through the tutorial mode and trying to figure it out and explain to you guys all at the same time. That should be fun. And as usual, because this is old game, the gallery reflects him and, pictures of him and arms and stuff like that. And option mode. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to option mode, is that the only actual thing you really need to be concerned with for real is how characters control in this game, because depending on your choice of weapon, that being the classic controller or the Wiimote nunchuck, you're given a couple of options. In classic controller mode, you can either use transformations by using the D-pad or the analog stick, and movement is the reverse of that. So, we'll get into transformations and the classic controller and how they work later, so just want to let you know about that. And when it comes to the Wiimote nunchuck, I'm sorry, is that actually, you know what? Screw it. I'll show you, because I have a classic controller and a Wiimote nunchuck right here, so we can show it to you guys. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the classic controller, like I said, you can either, set it, that's for using the D-pad and that's for using the analog stick. When it comes to the classic controller, you're either able to do your light and heavy using the A and B buttons, or if I can actually move it, which is the wrong thing, is that you can do an auto combo of some sort. So I'd show you the auto combo, but I have to show you a character, and because of the way specials work in that mode, I can't. But if you guys want to see it, let me know. I'll tack it on to the end of a video or something. But let's go ahead and let's get out of here. I just wanted to explain that to you guys. And that we've done all that, let's get to what you tune into these things for. Triple the God breaking stuff. Because, that's what we do here on Run That Rex. We break the shot things. That's what we do here. We do that on Run That Rex. We do that on DOADH. We just do that. We just do that. Now, the only things you really need to know... Hi, Garn. Bye, Garn. See how quick that was? Oh, and just so you understand, aiding is awesome because they reused stuff from Kamen Rider Dragon Knight and did not waste the characters. +1 to this game. Adding those characters, I really honestly have to say, is a stroke of genius. It is. Because those characters would have been stuck in Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, probably except for Knight, because at some point, if anybody was going to make the jump from, being a non-playable character to a character, it would be Kamen Rider Knight, for reasons that I won't explain, but he's awesome. So, to have all of the riders from Ryugi available in this game, that is a very big +1. I appreciate it. Now, just so, so I can say it, to make sure that it's been said, Zajax isn't in the game. Why would he be? Because he's not an original Kamen Rider character, so what would be the point? I just want to explain it because I didn't want somebody to say later, well, I don't know if Zajax in the game. Well, you should know that information, but if you don't, now you do. But we have characters to look at, and we have to talk about the unfortunate, what I like to call the freshman curse. Double had it in Climax Heroes Double, and O's has it here. Is that, as we saw in the Climax Heroes Double review about how using memories in that game work, they don't work like that no more, and we'll get into that later. O's is the same way, but but again, this game came out around episode 10 of the show, so it's really not really much you can do or complain about, because at least you get the character. And for our demonstrations, we'll select Oja because, he's broken shit, and, I saw the Dragon Knight review, good. Now, in the case of Double, Lord Jesus, in the case of O, I am so sorry, is that you are given the option to select that you want to use metal. I don't know why this is the first item that I'm greeted with, but, in Forza, it makes a lot more sense. But in this game, I don't know why this is even an option. But once you're done doing that, you have the option, which is cool, to select what form you'd like to start in. So we have Tato Ba, got the Kiri Bob, we have La Tora, and we have the Gozo. Now the thing is, and I just wanted just a little trivia, just in case you didn't know, is that the Gozo wasn't even featured in the show yet, but he was featured a couple of episodes after the show came out. So seeing the Gozo, this is what most fans' first interaction with the Gozo, like in any space, except if you read the books that spoil the shows and stuff like that. But for this, we will select Tato Ba as our starting form, and I don't know what to say to this. This is my one of the very few minus ones about this game, and it's personal. Why is Oja's only option Genocide? Why? Why? He had control of a whole bunch of Advent monsters, but we only get this. I'm like, and then, but see, that's the point to that's the point to Dragon Knight, is that he had all of those different Advent summons available, but in this game, you only give him Genocider when all of those forms are available. Well, all of those summons are available in this game in one way or another. Why not give them to Oja? Maybe because you don't want to make other characters redundant, but Oja's awesome, they're not, so who really cares? -1 game, -1. And we're not going to go to that stage yet. You know, that stage is saved for special stuff, like, you know, breaking the game. And, oh yeah, I got some tech for you guys today, but, you know, just stay tuned. I got you. Now, before we get into all this, let me pause the game and, you know, set some things up here. And Infinite Super Mix, kids. Now, this is what I want. We are going to start with Oja, because, you know, we can do that on this show. Well, not that. The thing is that, yeah. One more time. I don't need to, you know, say it. Sword Vent, awesome. Now, the thing about this game in comparison to Dragon Knight is that you no longer have to use the right analog stick or any buttons to flip through to select your card. All it is now, press an attack button. Now press the special button in the directions, which is down for strike vent, neutral for sword vent. Hold up, let me see. And then in some of your advent using your you use some of your advent using your what the transformation button would normally do. And can we get a special, please? I don't know why we're showing this. Why are we showing this? I don't know. I just want to see Oja spin around and kick him off. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I don't know. But he kicked him. He kicked him right into that dimensional portal. Yeah, that's what's up. But yeah, that's really cool. I really like that, and also it gives me a chance to really just, you know, transfer into the Flash in this game is done really well. Is that a lot of characters that I should be showing you guys, is that their improvements from Kamen Rider or from Climax Double to this game is that the stuff looks so much more flashier, and I'm like, that's the point to this game, is that flashy stuff. Sword Vent. More Sword Vent? Hell yeah. Slice them up. And, you know, Rider cancel that. But, you know, that's Oja for you, and that's pretty much all of the Dragon Knight characters, you know, Ryuki or whatever, save for Ryuki and Knight, because they also have the option of either summoning an Advent monster or using their survive mode. So, there's that. But let's get to what you really wanted to see, and that being Kamen Rider Rose. Now, as we talked about earlier, one of your options is how to control transformation. And in this case, because I use the directional pad to control my character, I like to use the analog stick to, you know, control transformation. And in O's case, he has 3 metals that he can control. If you didn't know, that's his thing. Left on the analog stick controls the leftmost metal, and you accidentally press down to actually finish your transformation, but we'll get into that in a second. Up controls the middle one, and right controls it, then right controls the rightmost, and then press down to finish your transformation. Now, here's the thing, is that stun him! Okay, I don't know if you guys saw that, but you know, we'll do it again. We'll do it again, just using all kind of metals, just throwing metals all over the place. Is that the thing about O's and transformations is, here is an example of a light string. Now, here's a heavy version of a string. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but let me explain. When O does a metal combo that isn't one of his colored combos, is that the middle metal will control what you auto transform into if you do a heavy string. Light strings you can do whatever you want to. You can do whatever, and it won't change O's over. And again, just to double check to make sure that you understand that yes, if you have whatever's in the center metal will be the auto transformation into one of his colored metals. I don't have as much of a problem with this as I did when the game first came out 2 years ago. I thought, honestly, when I first started, I thought it was just laziness. But then, thinking about it 2 years later, I have to understand that, the show was 10 episodes in, and Aiden is still, getting their bearings with the series. And as we'll see in the future, the games are getting better and better every year they come out because it's some change being made to make the game more accessible. Not only for the kids that this game is marketed for, but for the people like me who actually play it as an actual competent fighting game, not because it has Kamen Riders in it, because I'm the only one with the courage enough to stand up and treat it like an actual fighting game and analyze it as such. You're welcome. And that's it. We have nothing else to talk about here, so let's go back to the character select screen because, that's what we do here. Whew, man. Yes. Just need to take a breath, Zen moment. Zen moment. Now, we talked about the freshman curse, man. Let's talk about sophomore love. When you get the double, he has so many options. He has access to all 9 forms. Extreme and Songstrider. I just love screaming the word Songstrider. Forgive me. And he also had Songstrider. I just have to say it again because this thing here, Shoda Fang. I just love Frank Joker. Frank Joker is awesome. Joker is even awesomer than that. But we'll say that. We'll say that. Trust me. Don't worry about it. But for this, we will select 9. We'll select 9 form double. And just like with O, you can select any one of his 9 forms. And you can select any one of his 9 forms to start with. And then you can also transform the will, but we'll show you guys that in a second. And for continuity purposes, Climax, Cyclone Joker. Whew, man. Feet are cold. Why am I mentioning that in a review? But hey, my feet are cold. What you want me to do? When it comes to Decay has the same option he always had, that he's able to use form rise and final form rise and select them at will, that he can mix and match as he's always been done since the beginning of the series. And Decay complete form. And here's my other problem with the game. I think we talked about it earlier. But at the same time I kind of understand it. So I'm trying to understand it from why is this here versus, oh wow, that's an interesting feature. What this menu does is that it confirms that this is what form you're going to start with. Normal, plain old Decay. And once you transform, you will turn into complete form. I didn't really need a reminder of that, but hey, whatever. And where did I go last time? I think it was here. Jungle. We'll go to the jungle. Alrighty. As we sit and take another Zen moment while the game is loading. I have to say that, as you're about to see, man, I'm like, this game, when it comes to double, is leaps and bounds over the last one because it isn't that mess, because it was a mess of how body and soul memories worked in that game, that you only had access to one and, you could only use this body memory at this time, but in this game, it's nothing like that. Just like with O, you can use the left analog stick to control any of Philip's soul memories, being Cyclone, Pete, and Luna, and you can use right on the analog stick. Game, I did not ask you to transform, and that's one of my other sticking points. That sometimes the game, like if you sit it on a metal, if you sit it on one half of the transformation long enough, instead of you controlling it, the game automatically transforms, and it makes no sense. I can't even think right now, do they even fix that in that game? Because I don't even play double like that or play characters with even these types of transformations. So, maybe that should be something I should look into when I review that game. Moving right along, however, right on the analog stick controls all of Shotaro's body members, that being Joker, Metal, and Luna Trigger. And, you know, just so that we understand the fun stuff we can do, more Infinite Superman? Oh, I'm down with that. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is simple, is because showing you O's and how gimped he is because of the limited source material, and how Double used to be gimped and now he's a fully fleshed out character in this version of the game is very compare and contrast. And, you know, they gonna combo? Yes, it is. That's a combo. It is. Stuns in this game for the characters that have them make them better than characters who do not. And then on top of that, characters with actual rider finales who can do this much damage at will are better with characters that not, because again, we're going to take a look at it. We're going to take a look at a couple of characters later that don't even have finishes. But these things are fixed in Forza, so you know, people always ask that question a lot when I'm on forums about the differences between this game and how Forza has improved. And one of those things is that everybody has a rider finale of some sort. So, +1 to Kamen Rider Climax on Forza. But I think that'd be about it for this. And why am I doing this? Oh wait, because it's fun. I just want to show all this maximum drive real quick. And you know, just playing around, just having a little. We can have fun with these things. We can have fun, you know. We can have fun and educate the people. But as you saw, like Double's a completely different character from Climax Heroes Double. O's gets the same love in Forza, and Forza gets the same love in Super Climax Heroes. So, you know, it's always a thing that once Aiden's able to get the full source material and get down on the get down, it's always a good thing. But, you know, what else is there? You know, characters are more fleshed out, especially characters like that guy, and this dude, and that dude, but none of these dudes have finishers still. None of them have finishers. Why? I do not know. I think it'll be easy to give Negadeno a finisher. I'm like, Ryuga, he deserves a finisher because damn it, he's Ryuga. And Dark Kabuto is Dark Kabuto. Do I really need to say anything more than that? I don't think so. However, this game does have a quote-unquote Dark Decade, being this guy. For those who don't know, that is Double Cyclone Axel Extreme. He was a character that was featured in one episode of Kamen Rider Double and never talked about again. He's supposed to be the actual true form. He's actually supposed to be the true version of the Extreme memory, but you know, it's neither here nor there. But it's worth to be mentioned because Aiden didn't have to do this, but this is a +5 points for this game because Double Cyclone Axel Extreme in it. When I found out he was in the game, because I didn't know, because I always go on blackout for these games, when I found out and unlocked him, nerded out. Real talk. Nerded out. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna get on here and lie and say I did nerd out, but I did. But the reason why we're taking a look at him is because I've seen the question asked before. I've seen the question asked before, like, what are the differences between Cyclone XL Extreme and Cyclone Joker Extreme? You thought I was going to tell you? Oh, come on. Hey, you know me better than that. I wouldn't select these characters, you know, if I didn't. So, let us do that. Turn on my controller again, because you know that's what we do on this show. We turn on controllers. First, let's start by evening the playing field. I don't know why I made you sit through that. Don't ask. But here's the thing. Let's start with some Prison Breaker. The Prison Breaker. No. Hold up. as you can already see, Cyclone XL Extreme does more damage than Cyclone Double Extreme. Their normals are very different. He's Cyclone Joker Extreme is a lot quicker. Even his normals are a lot quicker, as I'll show you. Gotta pick up controller. Okay, maybe that's not a long enough for me to do that. Let's go over here. That's a neutral heavy string, and that's not. Is that why it may look to the untrained eye that, you know, those look exactly the same? The frame data for those are way different, and I have sat here and studied it. It's way different. But let me show you. I'll show you the true reason. Hold up. Actually, I did that wrong. Come on, let's go to the corner. Thank you. There's that. Now, let me show you the reverse of that. Free throw? Free throw, yes. Now, here's the thing. And here it is. That's the difference. Is that when you rider cancel that down heavy string, is that the way that Cyclone XL Extreme, what is the word I'm looking for? Give me a second here. The recovery frames are way different because his normals come out fraction slower. So again, like I said, to the untrained eye, it looks the same, but as you just noticed, that you rider cancel and two different things happen per these characters. But, you know, that's the only major difference. But I just wanted to show you that because we're never going to see this character again. I wish Aiden would bring this form back to give it as an extra form of double, but in Super Climax 2 he has plenty. But yes, what awesome, I guess. But yeah, that's that. I just need to stall for time and show you awesome finishers from awesome final form characters. I don't know if Super Climax Heroes is going to have gold Cyclone Joker Extreme, but you know, neither here nor there. But that's that. You know, I just really wanted to just take a second and show you the differences and at least feature the differences, so you know, just in case if you ever had the question or wanted to know, now you do. Now we get to the fun part. You know, the fun part where I show you that this game is broken. But maybe I should explain it first. This guy, that dude, these two, and him. You know what they all have in common? Including 5, 2 awesome words. Clock and up. In this game, clock up is king. Now, you may be wondering why clock up is king. From a person who studies fighting games, just trust me on this. You have so many options on clock up when you knock your opponent down, because in the case of 5, he can use Grand Impacts. He can use Grand Impacts as meaties to set up for either nasty long strings or to start a block string. And that's for any character with clock up, that if you use it correctly, that you pretty much can guarantee that during clock up you can guarantee a guard break. And as we'll show you, guard breaks in this game work different than in other fighters because of how long it takes you to recover from having your guard broken. So yeah, clock up in this game is dangerous. It always was, but in this case, the way that it can be used and the possibilities in using it make it so awesome. But there's one character who uses it better than all the rest. One half of Team Hopper, Punch Hopper, and I guess we can select Click Hopper too. And again, I have to confirm that I want Punch Hopper to do what he always does, and that's clock up. And the same for Kick Hopper. I don't know why these are menus, but let's go to the land of broken. You know I love this thing. This is where we always show off all our broken stuff, but like I just said, clock up in this game is dangerous. Dangerous. Actually, let me set it to infinite meter because I can see if I can do it right now. Let me see. Now see, here's the thing, is that I'm just playing around, but like I said, it's like if you see how I activated it on Kick Hopper's Wake Up, is that, let me see, because I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to figure out how to exactly try to show you guys without using it, because I would need somebody to actually be playing the game for me to do that, because in this game you can't set an option for the computer in training mode to roll to roll and wake up. So is that if you can it's easier to do meaties into stuff if you catch somebody rolling, because it takes them longer to get to a position where they can hold guard, because when you stand up you can guard while you're standing up there. You know what'll happen is that if you're hit while you are in the middle of a standing animation while you are guarding on wake up, is that the game will automatically force you to stand up and you will start blocking whatever string or whatever move is coming at you. So it's hard to demonstrate. I have to get somebody over here, and you know I'll have to make a special video about this, but that's not why you can. It's not. And you know, we find that option here. No. Yep, that's it. As you can see, I said Kick Hopper to block. Now, excusing that I won't be able to knock Kick Hopper down. Let's let his meter go down. Let's do a hypothetical. Let's say that Kick Hopper is in the middle of standing, and then I activate Clock Up, and then I do this. %33% of their meter gone, and then they still having to recover from having their guard broken. To me, from a fighting game standpoint, what you just saw is the most broken thing in this game. Is that any character with Clock Up, like I said, 5 has Grand Impact, has unblockable meaties into Grand Impact. As you see, Punch Hopper, Kick Hopper has something similar, but it takes him longer to do a Rider Kick versus a Rider Punch, which is why Punch Hopper is better. But having these options at your disposal and learning how to use them correctly will make you a dangerous player. Now, I'm not sitting up here saying Punch Hopper is unbeatable, but if he has 4 meters and knock you down, you're either going to eat a long combo, or you're going to have your guard broken, which is going to lead to the same exact damage you would have taken if you'd have eaten a combo anyway. I'm just saying. This, I'm not sitting up here saying like this is like broken, like stuff I've shown you in the past, but understanding and knowing that Clock Up characters have this option to set up for unblockables and undefendable guard strings that they're forced to block until their guard is broken. Yeah, I can't say nothing else. But you know, we're done. Punch Hopper, finish it. Yeah, punch him in. Yeah, warm his ribs up. But that's it. You have learned something new today. You can do this in Forza to a degree, but you know it isn't as powerful. But you know we'll show you guys that when we get to that, and we'll head back to the character select screen so we can go ahead and put it into this. Now, this whole review, I've been plussing and minusing the different games, like the last 3 games, because like I said at the beginning of the review, Dragon Knight is a combination of the engine of Double, but the features of this game. And this game is a smoothing out of all the little bumps in the road, but not all the bumps, because one of the things that you just witnessed that I thought I could be subliminal about is that you saw Punch Hopper has no finisher. This is fixed, but characters are more fleshed out in this game, but some characters still lack Rider finale. So I'm just like, I'm kind of like iffy. Is that's why I keep praising Forza as the superior game in the series to this point, because mostly all the problems, the little small things I had with the Climax series up to that point were sawtooth. So in this game, this is a fun game, you know, to experiment and play around in, but if you're trying to play it on any level of competency, you'll want to skip this game entirely. Because you have better games in the series, but you know, that's what happens when sequels come out. Look at Street Fighter 4, but you know, that's neither here nor there. So, if I have to give this game a score at this point, I'm gonna make history. I'm gonna give this game a 9.25, and here's why. Dragon Knight, because it was based in the double engine, was a lot more loose in doing fun combos than this game is being more strict with how, you know, how it takes longer to recover from animation, how hard it is to do stun combos in a Rider finale, but as you saw, I circumvented that easy with Lunar Trigger, so, you know, find a character, find out with a stun, and practice on your own time with a character who actually has a Rider finale in this game to use. This game, when it came out, it was very awesome, mainly for the inclusion of Cyclone XL Extreme. That justified the purchase, because I buy the games every year, but it's like, every year I buy the games, it's like, I don't need a justification in playing an awesome fighting game, but having special shoutouts like Cyclone XL Extreme are justifications for your purchase. I just want to say that. So, I would sit up here and tell you at this point, if you want to explore this game a little bit, feel free to do so, but I really wouldn't at this juncture invest a lot into it, especially with Super Climax Heroes coming out next week and Forza being a way better game than this. So, that ends our party for today. I would like to thank you guys for sticking around for 30 plus minutes while I break this game open like I do all the time. Before Thursday, we're going to take a very abridged look at Forza, because you know you really saw a lot of what Forza had to offer in the birthday technology video and our look at Forza switches. When Super Climax Heroes comes out, just like I've done with this game, we will be taking a look at Forza in that game, and when we review Forza, we'll be taking a look at O's and how his metal combos have improved and how he has everything except Tamashi, but you know, again, that's a nitpick. Can't really say anything about it. But at this juncture, we are done here. This game gets a 9.25 out of 10. Awesome fighting game, because like I say, I'm the only one in the whole world with the courage enough to sit up here and discuss this as a competent fighting game, which it is, and explore it such. And plus, real talk, I have a corner on the market no one else dares want to walk into. So plus 100 to me. But you know what it is. It's your boy Triple the G.O.D. G-O-A-G-H. I like to welcome myself back to the business. And you know, like I said, all my information of stuff you can get at me about stuff I write, where I'm at, and how to get at me if you got any questions, are right below this. Use them. But I'm out of here. You know what it is. Your boy Triple the G.O.D. D-O-A-G-H. Holla at you guys next time, man. Peace out.